Okay, guys, welcome back to another match here and now. And this is a little different. So, actually, it's the same thing. So, earlier on, it was Malaysia versus Malaysia. This time, it is PH versus PH. And this is going to be really, really interesting to see because it is going to be Nuks taking on SneezyDwarf. So, there's a lot of storyline right now, not between these two players, but basically on the PH scene, which we will tackle in just a bit. But in the meantime, we're going to be looking at those maps and those bands, and these are the maps that had been selected for this matchup. So here and now, ladies and gentlemen, we got our maps going on. Eternal Empire to start things off, Everdream for second, Simulacrum on third. But the second and third map isn't really fully confirmed yet. We're going to be making sure to see what the order is going to be after this match, of course. But our bands have already been set up to be Golden Wall, Zen, Nightshade, as well as Purity and Industry. So yeah, we are just going to be waiting on for the confirmation from our players. Ben, let's talk about basically what this matchup entails already. So first things first, guys, this is the second match that we're broadcasting today, and this is round number 2 of Action. Nux beating back Hyderia on round number 1. In the meantime, SneezyDwarf taking down Ashen 1 instead, and the two Philippine representatives actually meeting each other in pitch combat coming into this game right here, right now, which is really, really interesting to see that we are actually getting PH versus PH plays. And we big shout outs to Ranger versus Neutrals early on for their own Civil War. So we're just gonna be tackling this Civil War instead. And now, whoever wins this, it will be facing off against either Ranger or whoever wins the match of Uply and Chappie, which might be going on because that is a pretty big matchup that might really go down to the wire. And we are just waiting on for Mr. Sneezy right now. And we might as well talk about the thing since we aren't really ready to go as of yet anyway. So basically, the story of the Philippine scene right now, guys, is I and Mr. DLS Mizzle, my co-admin in a way, are just basically working on our own scene. It's kind of like this, but a little bigger, but a lot more niche, a lot more, for Philippines only, because our scene's kind of not really having too many competition. So this is the best way to reinvigorate it. Honestly, this was how Aodai Weekly started, if I remember correctly, from the admin story. It was only for Vietnam, and eventually, they grew to a point that they made it open to everyone else. And the funny thing about the Vietnam scene is, it is one of the biggest, actually, in SEA, if not the biggest one in SEA. The Vietnamese really love their StarCraft, and they have such great products like Miyamika, like Justice Simon, like Uply, like Hideria, there's so many of them actually here and now in the Odai Weekly, and they really try to show their moxie as much as possible. So, as back to my point, the quarantine tournament, is as we call it, is the Philippine setup, and we do have two different brackets. Wherein the first one is Gold to Diamond, the second one is Masters and Grandmasters. And well, Nux is the defending champion of the Masters Plus bracket, who beat back Ender on getting his revenge, getting his crown back because he was the initial champion, the inaugural champion of Quarantine as well. And he has been a champion as well here in the Odai Weekly, as we've been saying, that this guy is really, really, really having a resurgence in a way, or basically just unlocking his full potential again, because he does have that time right now. Knowing Nux's story, he basically, long story short, is a little too in deep with the academics. Sneezy, you there? Let's just see if Sneezy's okay. Like, hopefully something. See, he's fine. Might have gone probably YBN again. Like he probably went for a smoke break real quick, and you just gotta get ready. You just gotta get ready sometimes for a reckoning to say. Cause on the other hand, for Sneezy Dwarf, we want to do this matchup because it's a civil war, but more or less it's gonna be a really, really interesting learning experience for Sneezy Dwarf into the future, and it'll be great to give him a VOD to remember, because Sneezy Dwarf unfortunately is only on the platinum end, and his opponent is from I remember Nux right now is actually like at the cusp of Grandmaster. He's Master 1 Actually, he's Master 1, so yeah, it's really at 5.1k MMR, so it really goes to show he's almost there. He's really scary right now. Honestly, I'm just like, he has so much dedication to his race, and he has been playing this game for a decade now, and it really just goes to show what the product sometimes of the PH scene can offer. And it has been a real pleasure to enjoy his journey and see what is going on. As we are also just waiting, we're just all waiting. Everyone's just waiting for the bracket to go on. What's happening in the bracket right now? This is my favorite part. This is when I click the refresh on the challenge, and it seems like Dark V322 versus Vivid is going on right now. Tuc Lao actually beating back Justice Simon. So that's actually one other Vietnamese name that is pretty memorable. So that's interesting. Justice Simon bowing out on round number 1. It seems like reaching Dino and Probius Jones. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if if their match is happening right now. Seems like they're having a conversation. So hopefully Sneezy, come on, we're waiting on you, bud. We're waiting on you, bud. So hopefully he's there soon. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. What is it going? I'm gonna look at a few SC2 online events while we're waiting, because I just wanna. Hey, I have time. Maybe I have time to do another thing today. It's kind of awkward though. Like, I look at some of the things and they're really awkward in terms of times. There's like 12 a.m. for us. 12 a.m. KST, so it's like 11 p.m. There's like one at 2 a.m. There's one at 4 a.m. Jesus Christ, how do I wake up for those things? But again, it seems like we're ready to go. So all I did need to do sometimes. The funny thing is, whenever I either look something up during cast or I just look at something, the moment I alt tab, apparently we are getting into the game. And remember, guys, a quick little reminder: our first map is Eternal Empire. Everdream and Simulacrum gonna be our order. Anyway, though, let's get it on, let's get it done, and let's get into the match. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, right here, right now. PH versus PH instead. And now just strap your butts and get ready for a lesson, because this is really one of the best, if not the best, players in the PH scene. Took the crown back from Ender. He's the champion right now, the reigning champion of the Quarantine Philippine local tournaments. He's been an Alzai weekly champion as well, participating in many OSC and regional tournaments. Start things off, here in our Eternal Empire. On the bottom left, it's the red Zerg Nuks. And his opponents, on the top right, made his weight, and we'll see if the weight is worth it. They'll be looking to face off against a Titan, and will this be when you don't have the founding flower as of yet? Or is this gonna be the awakening here for our Terran player? We'll show the might of the Survey Corps as here and now, the purple Terran in the top right corner, it is SneezyDwarf. So yeah, as we've been talked about before, SneezyDwarf, a participant in the Gold to Diamond bracket, showing on up in the SCPH Quarantine Tournaments, the Philippine local scenes tournament of choice. And on the other hand, he's facing off against someone he would never regularly play against, the champion of the Grandmasters bracket of that same tournament, Nuks. And well, it will be really interesting to see what SneezyDwarf is going to be up to. Now, usually I would expect a player that is lower ranked to actually go for something cheesy, to go for something a little aggressive at the very start, because they would think that, oh, we're not going to be able to play a macro game strong against a player of his caliber, and the best way to do something is to surprise them. But apparently, no, he is going to go for that macro. He is going to go for the Tech Lab immediately on the barracks, and he will go for the Reaper at around 2 minutes, which is pretty interesting, because the Zerglings are going to be here already. He went for the Tech Lab early, and now he's going to fly that over. But the factory isn't built yet, and the supply depot isn't set up, and honestly, if these Zerglings do make it, they might be able to get into that mineral line and surprise the opposition. So, already a quick opening here potentially for Nuks, but he's expecting to go for the natural first and foremost. SneezyDwarf needs to pay attention, and oh no! Just getting caught mid-transition. Not gonna happen whatsoever. These Zerglings are on the inside, and already the punishment happening from Mr. Nuks to begin with. Is this going to be a situation where the break time is longer than the game time. Because Nuks, just with those scatting things, punishing the mistake there from SneezyDwarf in terms of that build order. He goes to the Reaper right now, he's going for the Cyclone as well. But will they really help out with Zerglings on the inside? He has to go for the attack right now against those things. But at the same time, Nuks, of course, with superior micro, he's just able to get so much things done along the way. Metabolic boost coming online here, and now 5 SBs have gone down. Emergency Mule is going to be into play as well. But no, SneezyDwarf really hurting right now. 7 have gone down. The Reaper right now going to be into play. But the damage has been done. The hole has been dug. And you can already feel that is gonna be a Grave Walker coming into this one. Seems like though it's not Nuks playing, it's the Undertaker here and now. Because this is just the Roaches looking to go for the punish. So Nuks has gone for the 2-base already. He has just decided, I'm gonna win this here and now because I have the advantage. I can push this. I know you're not gonna have too much money. The Cyclone though putting in some work. 4 kills already. Using the lockout to fly on the way. Gets another Roach along the way. But in the meantime, here comes a Reactor actually onto the barracks. And the biggest mistake that SneezyDwarf right now is doing is he's going for add-ons that he's not going to be able to use. He's going to be called, and Nuks will take that first victory pretty handily. Not a surprising outcome whatsoever, but, you know, the biggest issue there for Mr. SneezyDwarf is just basically he needs to realize that he needs to use the add-ons properly. You're not going to be able to do anything without your Reaper timing to begin with to get that initial harassment. And a player like Nuks, he has no mercy. He will walk all over you, he will take you down because he has the skill and he deserves, he deserves to play that kind of game. So, kudos to Nuks taking that first win there and then immediately, not a surprising outcome whatsoever, and we'll be looking to see what our second map is gonna be. But for Nuks, at least he is looking pretty good to start things off yet again. Already got a 2-0 beforehand, and now it's looking to be another potential 2-0 along the way. Waiting on though, can we actually get into the game? And yeah, found it, I got it. So we do have our second map confirmed. And it will be Everdream. Nuks looking for the 2-0, and that's really the good question here. How quick will this match be? Can SneezyDwarf do something about this? Can SneezyDwarf actually put a stop to the upcoming onslaught and be a-okay? That's gonna be the real question here and now. It's gonna be very interesting to see what the dynamic is gonna be for this match. And well, of course, we just want to give them a lot of love. We're going to give a lot of attention here to the PA scene. And let's see what SneezyDwarf has in store for us for this next game. Nuks, in the meantime, I fully expect the aggression. I fully expect him to might even go for the pull first immediately and just try to shut down his opponent. Make this a quick and easy, painless kill. And sometimes when you bring something to the slaughterhouse, and you just wanna enjoy getting the feast on and just shutting that down immediately. Seems like though we are just waiting on for a little bit as of the moment. Hopefully nothing is gonna be the issue here and now. Or I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this mod file real quick for a while. But yeah, we'll wait on to see if our players are ready to go yet again. Red and purple, interesting picks. It seems like that we are getting started now. We'll be getting into game number 2, Everdream again. A map where you can really play the aggro. You can really just go through the diagonal and push into your opponent, similar to something like Nightshade. And I do fully expect Nuks to take that advantage and to take that by heart and do so immediately. Round number 2, coming to a head. Can Nuks move on to the semifinals? Feels like though it's not a matter of can he, but how long will he take? But let's get it on, let's get it done, and let's get into another game. So here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is time for the second lesson. But sometimes, is it an after-school lesson that you'd like? Or is this just attention really teaching you the rules of the land? Introducing first though, one game ahead already, our red Zerg, Nuks. And his opponent, on the purple Terran of the bottom life of Everdream, it's SneezyDwarf. So again, PH versus PH game. Always good to see that kind of matchup unfold. And here we go right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be getting into another match immediately. So Hatchy first here for Nuks. He is going to be playing that macro SneezyDwarf. In the meantime, he's going to go for the standard wall on it immediately. And we'll go for the refinery. Seems like though his build order going to be a little more clear. Might be that Reaper to start things off. But yeah, as we've seen from the first game, SneezyDwarf, you gotta be careful with those add-ons. They're really pointless if you can't use them. And the other big deal about it is you can't produce anything when that add-on is being built. So it hurts. It hurts a lot to see nothing being produced when you need it the most. It's like when the Avatar was needed. He vanished and it took 100 years for basically the Fire Nation War to stop. But you know, it gave us a really good show, so I can't hate on that whatsoever. It's also on Netflix right now. Should I watch it again? Like, there's some good parts, but it feels like sometimes it's a little kiddie too. But hey, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what I can do on the downtime. Actually, for me, when I'm playing or doing something, I always put on StarCraft. And that's why I love casting StarCraft, because it's something I watch regularly. I like a lot. I'd honestly say on YouTube, StarCraft content is the thing I watch the most. Like around 50% of it overall, so it's really interesting. It really is an enjoyable game. GSL is an absolute blast. There was a really, I forgot, it was Innovations match actually. It was so down to the wire all the way game 5, and I honestly thought seeing him from the previous round he was gonna be able to just dominate anyone, but apparently it was such a good fight overall. Anyway, back into the game, you know, this is in GSL, this is the All Die Weekly, and we are on the SA region, of course. So the first thing to note, Nuks is going for basically more and more of those drones. He is just droning up immediately. He does only make 4 Zerglings because he's feeling very secure of his position right now in a matchup like this. He already knows that SneezyDwarf is not doing anything on that second base. He has that Overlord on top of that cavern, of that cliff actually, just floating on up. In the meantime, though, SneezyDwarf playing the safer way, and he will go for the command center and the orbital command first before flying that one in. Now, this will of course slow things down and make your base even later. 3 minutes in, still not on 2 bases compared to the Zerg on 2 bases. Might hurt you in the long run. But we'll see though what the plan here for SneezyDwarf. He's gonna go for 3 racks immediately, and he is only gonna have that on 1 base as of now. But Nuks has seen the second racks, and already he's expecting some really early aggression. Now, the build for Terran, actually, for the bio, is to go for the 1-1 of the barracks and the factory as you get while you have that second base, and go for the third command center before you go for the starport. And then you also time things right to go for engineering base to get the +1/+1, get your stim back at the combat shield, and push accordingly with 3 bases of income in behind. But hey, it's a little different. Seeing the 3 racks means that this can be an aggressive play, that he can really go en masse with whatever unit he likes, and usually that's the Marines and a few Marauders along the way. He is gonna go for stim back first. No combat shield means there's gonna be, these things are gonna be very fatal, to say the least. They are basically gonna be glass cannons into this regard. No way to get the heals. And with that extra HP kind of hurts him in the long run. Starport now being built, but SneezyDwarf gotta be careful, because here comes Nuks moving for the push on forward. Ravager right now going for the bow. Wants to go for the supply depot. Seems like SneezyDwarf, though, trying to decide what the plan is, and he's bringing in everything. You can see the panic unfold. And the Marines, the wall gonna get busted immediately. The pull is there already, looking for the interception in behind. But Nuks, of course, with a very decisive push. He knows he can exploit his opponent. He knows he can go for the push. And again, SneezyDwarf going for all of those add-ons that don't help out yet again. The first thing for SneezyDwarf, he just has to realize if when you go for additions that can't really relate to much, it's not going to do anything whatsoever. You can even see on his income, he doesn't have any more money, desperate on the production, but it just doesn't happen. He doesn't have the income, he doesn't have it at all, and Nuks will take that victory pretty easily. Not a surprising outcome whatsoever, and I really hope that helps SneezyDwarf a lot into the future. It really is just gonna be a wake-up call to anyone. It's like, you don't need to go for those add-ons, you need to have something to defend, you need to be able to get that scout before anything else, and like I said, for SneezyDwarf, I hope he just uses the All Die Weekly and these SEA tournaments to really allow him to get better and better into the game. That's why we have the gold to diamond bracket for a reason, for to allow these players to gauge their progress. And hey, it's fun to sometimes jump into the the river into the ocean immediately before getting ready for the pond, and you can't help it. It was just Nuks showing that that is why he is one of the best, if not the best player in the PH scene. Anyway, though, there you go with our results. Eternal Empire and Evergreen taken by Nux Simulacrum. Not gonna get played, and that is another 2-0 into our bracket. So what else is going on right now? Let's just check out what's happening in the challenge. And it seems like Nux is our first semifinalist, ladies and gentlemen, waiting on for everything else to happen. And hopefully, we will be able to get a next game soon. We'll probably just go back to Ranger, because I do expect the other half of the bracket already going on right now and doing basically the matches that they're probably in game. So I'll check what's gonna be going on, and I'll see what's gonna be next on the agenda. But don't go away. This is the Out There Weekly. This is your weekly dose of SEA action, and it is an absolute pleasure to give you guys another broadcast of this tournament.